Hi, and welcome to the Property Legacy Podcast, episode 6.
As you can see, we are on site today. We thought we would come and do our first renovation update podcast, and where else better to do it than actually come to our building and show you around whilst we're talking about what we've been getting up to. We've been laughing because it looks like we're ready for world domination. We've put the plans up on the back wall. Very so beautifully done by Steve. So we are here today. We said in our SSAS pension episode that we were going to do a few episodes throughout the process of renovating this 16-bedroom hotel. So we are ready to give some updates and share what we've been getting up to over the last few months. When I say we, I mean you and the team. I have still been social media girly at home, but that's okay. But I have been cracking the whip and saying, get pictures, get videos, I need everything. So we're ready to kind of show and share what we've been getting up to.
And thank you for all your support so far. This is episode 6, but the other episodes that we've had so far have been received very well. We've had lots of comments back from people we meet networking around the area, and even in pubs, people are recognising us and saying hello, which is very weird because we're just talking to a camera and just talking to each other, and it's a bit weird. But thank you for all the comments, and thank you for any kind of support you can do. Obviously, if you can pass on our podcast to anybody else that might be interested, that would be brilliant. That'd really help us. Obviously, you can see us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. So please share with people you know, and we will endeavour to make it as enjoyable as possible, I suppose.
People aren't bored by us, they enjoy it.
I know.
I've had quite a lot of feedback from people that aren't even interested in property, and I've really enjoyed kind of listening and learning from us already. So that's really nice feedback to have, and it can only continue to grow from there. We've only been doing this for a couple of months, but we're enjoying ourselves, and we've got so much to share with you on today's episode. So we are here we called it the boat room because it was a bar that looked like a boat. It's massively changed since the last time I was in here, sadly, because it had this gorgeous paneling, but it was all absolutely wrecked and it had to go. We came here and filmed in January and did a walk around, and there's definitely been some huge changes in the property. Can you tell me a little bit about what things have changed here? What's been going on over the last few months?
At the moment, we're still in the planning process with Blackpool Council. Our planning application form is in. All the designs have been done by our architect, and we're just waiting for the planning permission to come back. From that, what we've been doing is doing a lot of prep work. So we repaired the roof and started putting in new windows. So you'll see as we wander around the property, it's all nicely new double glazed windows. The bay in this particular room looks really nice. We found in the shop downstairs that the floor was rotten in a few places. I went through the floor in many places. Luckily it was only a foot deep, so didn't hurt ourselves. So we ripped out all the floor, we've ripped out all the ceiling in the shop. So now we've got floor to ceiling height of about 5.5 meters. It's huge. God. We've also then taken all the plasterwork off the walls and put in a non-permeable membrane there so that when we put the plasterboard back on, we won't get damp coming through. And we're going to have to put a new flooring in with new supports so that, one, it stays still and doesn't sag, but also it won't go damp and it won't rot in the future. So that's quite a bit of work just in that one room. Still a little bit of ripping out we need to do that we're going to be doing today. Stuart, our window guy, he's been replacing all the windows. Next to the shop, we had the room that's really dark. No windows in the room, but actually the windows were hidden behind breeze blocks and somebody had plastered over the windows. So we've now reinstated those windows and it's very bright down there. It's just going to help us obviously see what we're doing, but it'll make it a nicer environment. And from the outside, the property has nicer windows and not got broken glass everywhere and that type of thing. So that's what we're doing there. Obviously, at the moment, we're just doing some work tidying the place up, making it safe. This room was the ship room. So we took all the panels off the wall. We ripped down the ceiling, which had been put up really well. There was thousands and thousands of screws and nails in that thing. And it took us good 3 or 4 days just to literally get all the wood down and the bar and the paneling gone. So it was quite labor intensive, very much fun. It's destroying things allows us to get all our aggression out, and it's probably one of the best bits of doing this type of
You
work.
should have invited me. I would have enjoyed that.
Well, if we get somewhere, we'll invite you.
Yeah. You'll have to have me as a day on site as like full on the trainee, because I'm quite good at destroying things though. If something needs to be taken down and you just have to rip it off a wall or something, like I would quite enjoy that.
Yeah. We also had a school work experience, Robbie.
Oh yeah?
He did some work here and another job site down in Thornton. So he was enjoying getting stuck in and learning all the different ways of, one, you can earn money in property, but also getting stuck in to see what trades he wants to do when he comes out of school. So it's something he's decided he wants to do an apprenticeship. So he did his work experience with us, and he did 2 weeks and got well stuck in.
Yeah.
He enjoyed himself and did a lot of work, which was really a positive.
He did a bit of content creation as well, didn't he?
Yeah, so that'll be something else that we'll show on PPS, and obviously we gave him a project for the 2 weeks that he would take photographs and videos of the work we were doing so that he had something to show when he goes for an apprenticeship, but also it just gives him that kind of a project to get his teeth sunk into. Because let's face it, going forwards, everybody's going to need media, video production, and that kind of training in all aspects of trade work and any kind of career that anybody goes into. So it's always a good idea to start.
Definitely. Start them at the beginning and you can't fail, really. We've been busy networking, haven't we? So we had our second networking event in Manchester last night, and it was a really, really lovely room of people again. We've been really fortunate to meet so many incredible people, and the amount of people in that room who aren't on social media or aren't using it to their advantage. I felt like I was constantly having the same conversation over and over again last night, making it clear like how important it is to have this visibility for your business, because people might not need you now, but in 5, 6, 7 months' time, or their mum or dad might need you, or their friend might need you. So it's about having eyes on your business and people seeing things and not necessarily needing you at that time, but then they know where you are and they know what you do. I spoke to a man last night and he said he's been posting bits on Facebook for a while, and someone that he went to school with like 30 years ago got in touch with him, and now they're working together. But I made the point of saying, well, if you hadn't put any of that on Facebook, you would probably never spoken again. And he was like, exactly. So it is important to have that stuff out there, and that's one of the reasons why we get behind the camera and we create content, because we need to make ourselves visible and we want to show off what we're doing as well.
Yeah, because behind the scenes, what we're also doing is working with investors on joint ventures so that we can create better standard of living in the Blackpool area, bring investment into the area, and that way we can help build portfolios with people and do more of what we want to do in the area as well. So we're actively searching for investors to work with us hand in hand going forwards. But the social media and doing things like this is all about finding your next investor. So if you're in property and you're struggling to find an investor, the only way is to tell the world what you do, and eventually people will start recognizing what you do and want to work with you. So it's a really good way through socials to get investors.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, we're in our coats today, not in the usual kind of studio space. The plan is obviously in a few months' time, towards the end of this year, this is going to be a fully fledged youth building that we can use. There's going to be heating in here. We're not going to be puffer coated up. We have spoken about it previously, but I think it's important to think about what our plans are at the moment, how we're going to kind of offer it out and things like that.
Yeah, so the planning that's going through is to turn the whole building into 6 commercial units, and each one of those will be rented out for offices or for use for any kind of business, charities, that type of thing. The whole idea for this building is to support local startup businesses and also local charities. So we're eager to work with local charities to provide space and training rooms and storage and all those kind of things that all charities and small businesses need. At the moment, we've got interest from beauty salon. PPS is actually going to have an office suite here ourselves, so our world headquarters will be here on Dixon Road in Blackpool, in one of the units. So
I feel like we should frame this and put it on a wall afterwards. It'll be our artwork for our office.
Yeah.
Our world domination piece of artwork.
The beginning.
The beginning, yes. But I think there's lots of exciting things to come. In terms of like what our plans are for PPS offices, do you want to talk a little bit more about that, what you kind of wanting to do?
Yeah, so at the moment, PPS is online only, and we are all home-based. The whole team spread across the Fylde coast, working from home. So Ashton, if anybody rings the office, Ashton was the one that will answer the phones. He's at home and then communicates with us through WhatsApp and that type of thing to keep the team together. So myself and Chloe are usually the ones out destroying things and repairing things. Alice, you're based at home in Bispham. We want to have a home for everybody to come to. If we want to do our podcast, we'll have our own studio. We'll have the walls all slightly decorated differently so that we have backdrops and that type of thing. So we can do a lot more content for PPS, but also content for Alice's business and anybody else's business that we can provide support for. But it gives us that home where we can plan the future and work together for a bigger company and a bigger future.
Thinking about the last few months, what would you say has probably been one of the hardest things? Have you had anything that's gone completely off plan? Have you had anything that's gone wrong?
Yeah, so the frustrating thing is going through the planning side of things. It's going to take 12 weeks. It took a while for the plans to be accepted before the clock can start ticking. So we literally got an email last week saying that from the 27th of March, it's now been accepted. We had to add 3 trees to our design. Blackpool Council wants to improve the environment by having trees planted. So we've now had to add 3 trees to our plans.
Bear in mind, we are like, it's full concrete here, the whole area. There's no garden bit. So
yeah,
factoring in 3 trees is it's a mission, but we've accepted the mission.
Yeah, we will definitely plant 3 trees on
Yes.
site. Other than that, obviously, we knew when we did the site walk round and survey from the very beginning that the shop area, the floor was spongy and there was problems with damp. So it wasn't a surprise. We were aware of it. The actual extent of it, the fact that we kept falling through the floor, and the more we demolished, the further it went. Things like that kind of you have to roll with, you have to kind of factor in and work with it. The work we're doing with the roof, obviously there's been issues in the past with the roof and leaking in. That's now been solved. We had an issue yesterday where we've got a roof window, a Velux window, that's open. So we think that the roof, when the roofing guys fitted the window, it hadn't closed properly. So now we have to try and close that. So that's a job for today and tomorrow. So yeah, so we do have issues that we have to deal with. Obviously, we've had a bay window in this room, fiberglass, but there still is a bit of a leak, a little bit of daylight you can see through in areas of the space upstairs.
One thing I really like about this building though, and obviously the last time we did a walk round, it was quite dark, it was quite dingy, but it's actually got a lot of really lovely natural light in here. And I think as well, creating office settings and having a space where it isn't super dark and super dingy, it's a nice bright space that you can really kind of make the most of, is like essential really. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got people, you know, a lot of people like to film what they're doing and, you know, kind of do like day in the lives and show their working spaces too. So I think it's important for us to create a really lovely working environment for people to make their own and provide that for people in the Blackpool area, because there is such a need for it.
Yeah. The whole of the UK and the Northwest isn't the sunniest place at times. So today it's raining, it's grey, it's miserable, but it's still quite bright in the property. And obviously we'll decorate the walls to be bright as well. So all these things will add to the environment that people are going to be working in.
Exactly. So obviously we are local to Blackpool. This building isn't too far from where we actually live, but it's been important for us to get out and network with people and find local groups and charities that are to do specifically with this area of town. So we've been working with a lot of people, going out and meeting people, connecting with people, because it's really important for us to have a kind of community feel to what we're doing. And if we can assist with the area in any way, and again, it's offering these spaces out to people who are local to here, kind of like a first refusal thing. We're not going to offer them out to people that live an hour or two away. The whole point is allowing people that are here in this town to use this space. We've met some really, really lovely people. We've learned a lot just from being in those groups of people and in those conversations. So again, it's been so important for us to network and kind of share our message in a number of different ways. So obviously on camera, on the podcast, on PPS, and then obviously also it face to face and actually getting out in the community.
Yeah, because it's important that there's a lot of community groups in all towns around the UK that are trying to improve areas, trying to get councils and sponsorships to improve the kind of the environment that people live in. In Blackpool on the North Shore, there's a few groups that are helping improve the park areas, helping improve business groups in the area, and trying to bring more tourism to the North Shore, which isn't the centre of Blackpool, but it's where the bigger illuminations are in the winter. But during the summer, there's a lot of hotels and B&Bs. So it's looking to support those kind of businesses and bring other businesses in that aren't seasonal. That's the one thing we want to try and support businesses in our building is that it's not just seasonal stuff. It's all year round companies that will grow. So that's it all for today. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of the podcast. Whoever that one person is that did actually listen to it. It's not just me on a Saturday morning. So thanks again for all your support, and please share, like our videos on YouTube, and if you can do any 5-star reviews, that would be brilliant. It'll just help podcasts get out to as many people as we can and start helping other people move forward on their journey. And if you've got any projects you're involved with and you want to share them with us, we will actually come out and do interviews with people showing what they're doing and how they're operating in the surrounding areas. So we've got one booked in for July up in Morecambe already. So there's a few people that we're talking to about interviews and sharing their stories within our podcast too.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. And we will be back in 2 weeks' time for our new episode. And you know where to find us. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to keep up to date with our content. And we will see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.